discouraged.
I know. I know, being a grassroots advocate.
Yeah, it's easy to get discouraged and say, oh, you know, why am I doing this? You know, nothing is changing. You know, you're making these minute little, but then something will happen. I don't know if you found this in your life and work as an advocate, but just when you're feeling like you just can't do this anymore, something happens. Someone will call you and say, you know, you made an incredible change in my you know family member's life. I couldn't have done this without you, and then you're up again and at the fight again. So.
Yeah, well, I know it took the advocacy group, well, actually 10 years ago, 1996, they talked about like taxi cabs, and now we have it.
Right.
But there were times where you're like, oh, but you know that change takes time.
Change takes a lot of time, especially big change. And I counsel, you know, parents, especially parents who come to me and want change really quickly. I can change things, as an individual advocate, I can change things for an individual child fairly quickly, but we're not going to change society as a whole quickly, and history bears that out. I mean, if you look at the time frame between the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, which is considered really the flashpoint that began the civil rights movement, and Obama's inauguration, 53 years for society to be ready for that, and I'm well prepared for it to take 53 years to accomplish this goal. A lot of people, Americans want quick fixes. And it's a hard sell to a lot of people. You know, it's not going to come in our lifetime. Your child may enjoy the fruits of what we've started, or perhaps your grandchildren will, but we won't. We won't see the fruition of this movement, but that's okay. The point being that no one will ever see it if we don't start.
Right. Somebody has to start somewhere.
And that's what Spedwatch is about. We're about getting it started. We're just in our infancy, but we've made some pretty significant changes, I think, in that context.
What are you working currently on now?
Currently, what we're working on is we've been in existence for 5 years. So the first 5 years was really about taking a blank sheet of paper and at least building a foundation. So the foundation is built in that people know who we are, districts know who we are, the Department of Education knows who we are. When we call the Department of Education, they jump. They don't yet ask how high, but we're working on that. Fact is, they wouldn't give parents the time of day, you know, years ago.
Oh, no. No.
And still don't. But if it's Spedwatch, if a parent says, I'm calling, I'm a member of Spedwatch, you get a call back. You get action. You might not like the action that you get, but the point is we have to understand that you're getting some action. So what we're working on today is just sort of taking the next step, which is taking the tools and the techniques and the strategies that we've sort of developed by trial and error over the first 5 years. What are the things that people can do, concrete actions that they can take at the local level to begin to make a difference? So we're taking those tools and we're starting to hand those out, so to speak, so that so that it isn't Spedwatch, you know, Spedwatch Central doing this work. We're now going to step back a little bit and act as consultants and guidance and leadership, but we're going to hand over the day-to-day work of the movement, of the fight, to where it belongs, which is with the people, because we are a mass movement. It's a civil rights movement, and that doesn't, you know, it has to come from masses of people. That's the, you know, so we're beginning to do that now.
Bottom up, not top down.
Correct. That's right.
So you're probably focusing on the healthcare changes. Are you focusing, well, to back up, are you focusing on any healthcare changes that affect the children now?
No.
Healthcare reform?
We are focusing exclusively on the issue of special education and how special education rights are violated and what that means. Encouraging parents to learn their rights, encouraging them and standing behind them when they're ready to stand up and say, you know, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You know, so that they're not alone.
Right.
So our focus is specifically on special education, which is a huge area.
It can be going from what age, 3 to 21?
3 to 22, yeah, 3 to 22. So it's and what happens for a child in that time frame defines the rest of their life. It's just like healthcare. Child who is deprived of appropriate health care during their formative years, very hard to recover from that. Same with we call it educational neglect. It's a form of child abuse, and we look at it through that lens. When you deny a child an education, that is abuse. It's educational neglect. And we confront school districts, and we confront the Department of Education. Most recently, we went to the Department of Education and asked if they, we didn't ask, we told them we wanted them to. It's very psychological too. It's about getting out of this, they're the system and they control things too. They're the system and they work for us. And that's,
they do.
And that's a whole big change that has to happen in parents' minds. We sat down with Deputy Commissioner Carla Brooks-Bear and asked her that when the Department of Education becomes aware that a school district has broken special education law in a way that clearly will have harmed some students, we want the Department of Education to instruct that school district to locate and help the students who could have been harmed by that noncompliance. And the Department of Education said, no, we will not do that. And we have a letter to that effect. And that's part of our strategy. We're capturing so that everybody can see. We're getting the Department of Education to come to the table and to, if they're going to do things that hurt children, we want them to do it in the light of day. So, yeah, getting that type of a letter, we started in 2007 with another letter from Marcia Mitnack, in which she said, and these letters are on our website, in which she said, Marcia Mitnack is our State Director of Special Education, and she stated unequivocally that Department of Education is unable to reduce the frequency with which school districts violate students' special education rights. It can't be done. So, which is tantamount to saying to these kids, sorry, can't help you. Spedwatch says, you know what, we don't accept that. That's your answer? Fine, there are going to be consequences. We'll do protest demonstrations every once in a while outside the Department of Education for certain reasons. We did a demonstration in front of the Department of Education when Mitchell Chester on his first day at work, so that he could see that, we're here.